Look at the next stop sign you pass. Not the color, not the word, the shape. 8 sides, perfectly symmetrical, easy to recognize. And here's the strange part. Almost every other traffic sign has a different shape. Triangles, rectangles, diamonds, circles. But only one sign on the entire road is an octagon. Stop. And that shape is not an accident. It's a deliberate safety decision, one that goes back more than 100 years. In the early 1900s, roads were chaotic, cars were new, traffic laws were inconsistent, and road signs were not standardized. Every town made its own rules. There was no single design everyone followed. Some places used diamond-shaped stop signs like this one, some were yellow, some were white, and in many places, there were no stop signs at all. A driver traveling between cities could suddenly face a completely different system. It was confusing and often dangerous. Engineers started asking a simple question. What if drivers could recognize a sign, even if they couldn't read it? At the time, headlights were weak, roads were poorly lit, and signs didn't reflect light. At night, a driver might only see a dark silhouette. Not the color, not the letters, just the shape. So traffic engineers came up with a new idea. Every important instruction should have a unique shape. That way, even in darkness or heavy snow, drivers could still understand the message. They began assigning shapes to different types of signs. Warning signs became diamonds. Yield signs became triangles. Speed limit signs stayed rectangular. But the most important instruction on the road stop needed the most recognizable shape of all. So engineers started testing options. They tried circles, squares, triangles, pentagons, hexagons, and octagons. Eventually, one shape stood out, the octagon. Why the octagon? First, it was visually unique. A square can look like a rectangle at a distance. A triangle can resemble a warning sign. But an 8-sided shape is hard to confuse with anything else. Even in low light, the outline was distinctive. Drivers could recognize it instantly. And when the message is "stop now," every second matters. Second, it worked well with the manufacturing technology of the time. In the 1920s, most signs were made from metal sheets, and those sheets were cut using straight tools. A circle required curved cutting, which was harder and more expensive, but an octagon was just 8 straight cuts. That made it easier to produce, cheaper to manufacture, and more consistent in shape. There was also a hidden safety advantage. Imagine you're approaching an intersection. You see the back of a sign on the cross street. You can't read it, you can't see the color, but you can see the outline. If that outline is an octagon, you immediately know there's a stop sign facing the other direction, which means traffic crossing your path must stop. That gives you useful information before you even reach the intersection. By the early 1920s, the octagonal stop sign was officially adopted in the United States, but at first, it wasn't red. Early stop signs were yellow with black letters, because durable red reflective paint didn't exist yet. It wasn't until the 1950s that the familiar red stop sign became standard. But the shape never changed. The octagon had already proven itself. Today, the octagonal stop sign is one of the most recognizable symbols in the world. You'll find it in North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, almost everywhere cars exist. Different languages, different alphabets, different cultures. But the shape is the same, 8 sides. Because even if you can't read the word stop, you can still recognize the sign. So the next time you approach an intersection, take a second look at that red octagon. It's not just a piece of painted metal. It's a design shaped by poor lighting, early engineering experiments, manufacturing limits, and one simple goal: make the most important message on the road impossible to miss. Sometimes, the safest designs are the ones you barely notice at all.